What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today I want to discuss why Ricoh GR3 for street photography. So here I have my Ricoh. This is my full setup, by the way. The iPad Pro, Ricoh GR3, GoPro Mini, no LCD screens. So these two cameras side by side showcase, I guess, the size of the camera, right? The GoPro being extremely small next to the Ricoh, and the perfect sort of sidekick for making videos and photos at the same time. Here we have the GR3, very small, very discreet. As you can see, it fits in the palm of your hand, and it's very, 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 very pocketable. So if you wear Lululemon License to Train shorts, these are the Lululemon License to Train shorts. Yeah, look, they slip right into the pockets. Zip them up. Boom, you're good to go. Ricoh and the GoPro, perfect sidekick. Both cameras, both pockets, you can fit both in one pocket. But realistically, the biggest selling point for these Ricoh cameras are the pocketability of the devices itself. You might think other point and shoots can get the job done, etc., etc. This is the most supreme. Right, this is the most supreme pocketable device that is out there on the market for photography. So I have here the Ricoh leather strap. This is a strap that you have to purchase separately, but it's worth it because it has this sort of like leather mechanism that locks in to your wrist. So as you can see, I have the camera dangling from the wrist, and what this allows you to do with the Ricoh, which is really special, is it allows you to become one with the camera. You can now hold the camera at any angle, high angle, low angle. You can showcase it this, I'll showcase it this way, where I use the camera like this with my middle finger on the shutter. And what this allows me to do is make micro adjustments to how I hold and position the device. So I can go from horizontal to vertical very quickly. I can also hold it down low and go to the left of me and being discreet like this. I can hold it with my index finger to the right of me. Sometimes I'll even do this other grip where I hold it like a claw, like this, with my thumb and my index finger. And I can shoot to the left of me like so for quick grab shots. So the point is, you become one with the camera. The camera and you become one, right? The eyes, the hand, the camera, everything's connected. And it's a visual pleasure as well as a physical one when practicing street photography. You're moving on the streets and you're enjoying yourself. You're not carrying a big camera on your neck and making it some serious expedition where you set out to really practice. You have it in your pocket. You're ready to go at all times. You can go about your daily chores and do your other things. I think that the point is, we can transcend what a photographer is through the use of the Ricoh cameras. So on the streets, you do become a pedestrian. You do become a bystander. You become the tourist within your hometown. And I think that's an important aspect of this kind of thing, where you can be discreet. You can use the tourist technique. You can walk around with the camera and act a little bit clueless while you look up at the sky and photograph buildings and then come down and photograph somebody. You can use the T-Rex technique and hold the camera at its side and kind of be discreet with the camera and get close without anyone noticing. And I think it's important to be discreet in street. We're not sneaky, we're not being weird with it. We're aware of what we're doing, but we don't want to disturb the peace, right? We want to get away with it. We don't want to be an obtrusive person on the street. We kind of just want to get out there and not harm anybody, right? So keeping the camera on your wrist at all times, having it in your pocket, being discreet, these things are what lend itself really well for street photography. Now, when you pair it with an iPad, this is where it gets kind of awesome. So when you use the iPad, I basically just set folders up here with different days in the Photos application. So every day I make a new folder, and I have the one big monochrome selection folder where I store all of the work. And you can see here, this is where I put my favorites. I have a July favorites section and then a full monochrome selection. So now I have 770 photos favorited since using this device for the past couple of months. At the end of the year, I'll cull through this folder and make my final keeper selections. But you can see it's very nice and beautiful to use the iPad to then basically go through your photos like a contact sheet. I really do believe that this pairing between the Ricoh, the iPad, and the GoPro are amazing. It's a perfect combination and they all work well together. I think that everyone should get a GoPro alongside the Ricoh. Imagine if we all shared our ideas around street photography. We could learn from each other, we could grow with each other, and we could showcase the process on the streets. I think that's a beautiful thing to share, and it's a great thing to explore using the GoPro and the Ricoh as a combination that allows me to openly express myself here on this corner of the interwebs. I really do love the Ricoh. I think that in general, you can set it up however you like. You can shoot using RAW, you can shoot using JPEG. I choose to use the small JPEG files because it allows me to import directly to the Photos app and receive a, aesthetically beautiful photograph straight out of camera. This is my solution. I'm not looking forward to Lightroom processing and all that kind of stuff. I like the idea of me just taking a picture, making an abstraction of reality, getting it beautiful right out of camera, and moving on, right? On to the next one, right? The more pictures we make, the merrier. And so with that, yeah, just set the camera up into AV mode, automatic mode, P mode, snap focus. The technical sides of the camera I didn't really mention because I think everyone's kind of aware with what the deal with this is. You can set it up manually and use these dials if you really want to. The only time I use a dial, when I turn this camera on, look, exposure compensation. This dial right here, left, right? That's the only dial I ever touch. And I actually changed my settings so that the D-pad, the only thing that happens in the D-pad now, I got the function button to go to single point or snap focus. Up on the D-pad brings you to macro mode. Right and left on the D-pad, I actually just turned those off. Bottom on the D-pad, you can't change that. And then when you click this in, I made it so the only thing you can adjust is the snap focus distance, right? So I keep it in AV mode, F8 all day. Just point and shoot. That's kind of the deal with the Ricoh. It's like, always quick to the draw, always ready to go. No thinking required, only intuition. So for that, I'll end the video. Little gear talk. But yeah, I figured it's worth sharing and discussing. So yeah, that's all.